Good evening, bipeds. Hey, Steven Sashen, co-founder, chief Barefoot Officer from Xero Shoes here. This is our monthly Ask Me Anything live event where you can literally ask me anything. But don't worry if you're not live. I'll say more about that in a second. You can literally ask me anything about barefoot running, about minimalist shoes, which are not necessarily the same as barefoot shoes, regular shoes. Happy to talk about those as well. How to transition to minimalist footwear, how to enjoy doing that, all the things you can do in minimalist footwear or barefoot footwear, the latest research about all this, what I'm making for dinner, why I have this sign behind me, you name it. Now, if you're not watching this live, that's cool because this will all be recorded and you can just do me a favor. If you have any questions or comments, whatever, put them in the thing below wherever you can put in questions and comments and someone will respond to you. If you are watching this live, same idea, put your questions and comments below. I will see them over there on my screen. So when I'm looking over there, you know why. It's to read your comments and questions and then I will answer them. So pretty straightforward. Now, I want to start because there's people who've been on these calls quite often. Welcome. And there are people who are brand new. So let me give you a little thing for the brand new people about why we are here, why Xero Shoes exists. And it's pretty simple. I just need to talk to you about something that most people don't like to talk about, your feet. And more importantly, some things about your feet you may not have known. So for example, most people don't know that 1/4 of the bones and joints of your entire body are in your feet and ankles. That's so they can bend and move. That is for balance, agility, and mobility. Similarly, well, actually, let me pause there for a sec. If you don't let your feet do that job, all that function tries unsuccessfully to move upstream into your ankle, your knee, your hip, your back. That ain't good because those joints aren't made for balance, agility, and mobility. That can be a problem. Similarly, you have more nerve endings in the soles of your feet than anywhere other than your fingertips and your lips. So your brain can tell what you're stepping on or stepping in. So it can help you move effectively, efficiently, and maybe most importantly, enjoyably, starting by getting your feet to do the right thing. So if you're not feeling things, then you can't move correctly. If you can't move correctly, you're not getting the information you need to, well, enjoy whatever it is whatever it is you like to do on your feet. So our job here at Xero Shoes, we're trying to let your feet do their job so the rest of your body can do its job. How do we do that? You might ask, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you. It's with a couple of very simple principles, things that are so screamingly obvious, you're not going to believe that everyone isn't doing it, but they're not for a reason. We can talk about that too. So for example, this is our Speed Force shoe. It's the shoe that I race and train in. I'm a Masters All-American sprinter for men over 60. I'm one of the fastest guys in the country. I've got a race coming up on Sunday, my first race of the indoor season. I'll be wearing this shoe, in fact. So wider foot-shaped toe box. We don't squeeze your toes together. That's not good for you. In fact, if you squeeze your big toe in, you can't even use your longitudinal arch, which makes it weaker. If you can't use it, things get weaker. Use it or lose it. That's a principle that we're going to be coming back to a number of times. Also, it kind of cuts off blood flow and it makes it harder to balance. Like you don't do push-ups like this, you do push-ups like this because that gives you better strength production and balance. Same thing with your feet. So wider foot-shaped toe box. Low to the ground for balance and agility. The higher you get off the ground, the tippier you become. We don't have a thing called, it's a zero drop or non-elevated heel, because if you elevate your heel, that messes with your posture. Then you have to adjust in some way. They put strain on your knees, your hips, and your back. Whichever one of those is the weakest link in the chain, that's going to be a problem. We don't have a thing called toe spring, which means with toe spring, you can't get your foot flat to the ground. That messes with a whole lot of things in your gait. Just think about having those tendons in your toes constantly pulled up instead of being able to move properly. That ain't good. What else? Super, super flexible in pretty much every direction you can think of, just to show that. Now, of course, this is not what your foot ever does. If it does, that's a problem. But the point is it lets your feet do what your feet are supposed to do, whatever that is. This is also really good for travel. Although ironically, this is better for travel, but people see the roll-up thing and they just associate that with travel. That's okay. If you want more or less barefoot feel, we can help you there. If you want more barefoot feel, just remove the included 2.5, 3 millimeter sock liner or insole. If you want a little extra protection, just keep it in, not a problem. The soles of our shoes are there to, well, they have a tread pattern to give you traction and protection. Again, this is a shoe that I wear. And also that ground feeling that your brain is looking for to help you move correctly. And we made our special rubber we call Feel True Rubber to give you that ground feedback and have durability. So our soles are backed with a 5,000-mile sole warranty. Last but not least, we have, let's see, Xero Shoes are freakishly lightweight compared to other things you're used to. So lightweight, we've literally had people who forgot they were wearing their shoes and either didn't take them off when they got home when they usually take them off, or even literally even went to bed still wearing their Xero shoes because they forgot they had them on. And what you can't see, because I'm working from home, because we have winds that are so crazy right now here in Colorado, they've closed some of the roads. If I was at the office, you'd see behind me over 60 different styles of casual and performance shoes, boots, and sandals that people wear for everything you can think of. Walk on the beach, hiking up Kilimanjaro, playing professional basketball. We have NBA and WNBA players in our shoes. I mean, literally, you name it, we have people doing it. So that's what makes Xero Shoes Xero Shoes. Okay, there's a bunch of people here. Just a reminder, if you are watching live, this is an Ask Me Anything. You can ask me anything. I'll see it on my computer over there, and I will respond. If you have advice, suggestions, feedback, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and leave it there. If you have any things about an order or anything that our customer happiness team can take care of, you can reach out to them, support@xeroshoes.com, or pick up the phone, use the phone app on your phone and give them a call. And what else was I going to say about all of that? Just a reminder, we have 3 different websites. If you're in the EU, go to xeroshoes.eu. If you're in the UK, go to xeroshoes.co.uk. If you're anywhere else, go to xeroshoes.com. And of course, you can find Xero Shoes on Amazon, at REI, at a whole bunch of places. You can go find our store locator when you go to our website. Just take a quick look and you'll find stores near you. No store carries the entire product line except our store in East Denver. If you're around Denver, come swing by and you can try on everything we have. And the store is part of our warehouse. So if it's there, you can get it. I hope that's helpful. What else? And Ask Me Anything things. We do have new products coming out for the spring of 2025 in about a month. And then even more exciting for us, about a month and a week later, we will be bringing out to the public that basketball shoe that I mentioned that we have NBA and WNBA players playing in right now. We are launching that officially the end of March during March Madness. So we're super excited about that. And we've been getting just unbelievable feedback from the pro players that are wearing that shoe. Okay, got a bunch of you here. No questions yet. It's a shy group tonight. I understand. It's okay. Here, I'll give you a little something to start the conversation for the fun of it. This morning, when I walked the dog, -6. Today got a little warmer. Yesterday, the high was 8. But it was sunny out. And in Colorado, when the sun's out, it feels warmer. So with the sun out, even though it was only 8, it felt like maybe 9. So who can beat -6 for walking the dog at 7 in the morning, or actually 8 in the morning is when I did that, or having a high of only 10 degrees. And now we have winds that are hitting about 90 miles an hour. So that's pretty exciting. So we can do the weather thing if you're in the mood for the weather thing. Now, by the way, I don't hang out here just for the fun of it. I mean, this is my favorite thing to do. But my point is, if there's no conversation, then we can call it an evening. You can go back and do whatever it is you like to do. Catch up. Oh my gosh, if you're not watching Severance, watch Severance or get ready for that. I can't remember if it started last week or coming up. I know there's some shows that are starting up again, like The Night Agent. What else are we watching right now? We're actually waiting to binge Severance. That's kind of best thing to do in my book. And so we're just going to hold off and then kind of add them in. What else are we watching lately? Don't know. What am I making? Oh, here we go. No, hello. I just ordered some Prios on the 19th and they have not shipped yet. The 19th was a weekend. We don't ship over the weekend. We ship on business days. So and we usually within 1 or 2 business days. So it should go out today. And one of the challenges we've run into on the shipping side is the carriers aren't necessarily updating the tracking information the moment they pick things up. So we've seen that happen a couple times. So I'd give it a day. And if you don't see any info about that, call our customer happiness team or drop them an email and ask them about, what's going on. So there's that. By the way, no one has asked. I will tell you this sign behind me. It is not just a public service announcement or a comment to people who are going into stores and doing this because you're not getting, arrested anymore. This is also a sign that I liberated from the Duke University bookstore 44 years ago when I was there. I tried to give it back. They didn't want it. No, also says, I'm wondering if you guys are getting any more faded black style shoes in. I need to know which style in particular you're referring to. And I'm not sure what faded black is. I'll be totally candid because I always am. I don't keep track in my brain of which things are going out of like being discontinued versus which things are coming back, which versus the new colorways. Because with 60 different styles and often, anywhere between 2 and 5 different colors of each of those, it's much too much in my brain. So I can check, but the best thing to do is actually reach out to our customer happiness team and ask them. Emily, why do certain designs get discontinued? I love the Pacifica, but I wish you would bring it back. I love that shoe. It's one of my favorite shoes. We haven't had that in a long time. The reason so it's changed a little bit. The reason that shoe, well, there's a couple things. The biggest one is how well it's selling. And the reason that's an issue for us, I mean, when Lena and I started the company, Lena is my wife, by the way. And when we started this 15 years and a few months ago, we had the idea we would just keep everything in inventory and just, eventually things would sell out, or, we'd figure out if we wanted to replace them and buy the right amount, et cetera. So in the early days, the problem that we had was space. We had very small warehouse space. I mean, it started in our garage, and then it moved to an office where the day we moved into the office, we ran out of room. Then we opened up a warehouse, and then when we moved into that warehouse, immediately full. So some of it was literally, is it taking up space, and how well is it selling? We kind of combined those two things. Now, there's a similar thing, but the biggest thing we're trying to figure out now is how to buy better so we can have more styles, but not buy too many and have them sitting around. The longer something sits around, the way our chief financial officer thinks of it is it's frozen money. And so because we don't have huge amounts of investors behind us who've given us bajillions of dollars, we have to be really, really diligent about what we're ordering and what we continue to carry. So that was a long way of getting to, I love that shoe too. And I've even asked people to bring it back. And so what I'm going to ask you to do, if you can see in the comments below, or I don't know if you can see it actually on the screen, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and say, I love the Pacifica. I'd like you to bring it back. And tell them why you loved it. What are your favorite things about it? For me, the lining was incredible. The faux wool upper was actually, I think it was a real wool upper then, was super, super cool. And you could waterproof it. You could, if you haven't done this, you could take a candle, like just a regular, candle, and rub it on there, and then take a blow dryer and melt it in, and it makes it pretty waterproof. Another customer found that online, tried it, and has been wearing that shoe ever since. So, and in a way, it's not the same shoe, of course, but the Dylan is kind of the same design as the Pacifica, just not the same materials. So something to keep in mind. Odd Man in the Sea. Hey, Steven, had to buy a new pair of Nexus trainers as I needed to go up to size 15. Hopefully my feet won't grow more than that. Well, you'll be happy to know some of the stuff we're bringing out because of our NBA players. We're going to be going up to 16 and beyond in a few of those products. Definitely the basketball shoe that we're launching, that's going to go up to, I think, a 17 to begin with. Not sure if it's going all the way to 18. Amazingly, though, most of the basketball players we're dealing with, they're like 12 and 13. They're not even, 14, 15. And see, some of these are big guys. Like this one guy is 6'4". Where's a 12? Who knew? Elliot, please bring back the original HFS. Well, Elliot, all I can tell you is within about a week, you're going to be really, really happy. Need I say more? Now, I will warn you. I'll just tell you, we're bringing it back, but we're not, it's not with all the colorways we had before. I'm not even sure what all the colorways we have now are. We had to do, again, a limited run just because of, we wanted to bring it back and we couldn't do all the colors we were thinking of. So, but you'll see, it's coming back. Jason, another sale going on. We try to be really, oh boy, up until COVID and everything since then, we would have 3 sale events a year. When we launch products in the spring for the launch alone, when we launch products for the fall, and at the end of the year, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We've had to do a few other things in between to right-size our amount of inventory, like almost every other company we know. And we're still kind of figuring it out. So the only thing that I know that's coming up is when we launch our new products in about a month, we're going to have those discounted for the launch phase because we want to get them out the door so we can get a lot of people to try them out and spread the word. Jose, love Xero Shoes. I have 4 pairs already and almost replacing all of my old uncomfortable shoes. Happy to hear it. Odd Man in the Sea is also 6'4". Elliot saying yay about the HFS. Love the funky colors. I do too. Here's again, backing up to, when we discontinue things, Color is a weird one. We have made some choices that we thought were awesome that didn't sell at all. And we made some choices that we thought were iffy that blew the roof off. So we're always trying to crack the code on that. And again, if we bring something out and you're going, ooh, I love it, but you can leave a suggestion at xeroshoes.com/feedback. No promises will do it. So I wouldn't like make a suggestion and just wait to see if that color shows up, because if for no other reason than to do a new colorway, we have to go back and forth a few times to make sure it's right, and then produce it, which takes time, and then get it here, which takes time. So even if we were going to do a color that's something requested, it could take 6 months maybe or more till it would show up. So FYI. I have to wear this from username. I have to wear safety toe shoes for work, and unfortunately, there aren't many options for barefoot style safety shoes. Any plan for a safety shoe? For those of you who've been on these calls before, you will know that is the most common question that I get, and I will give the same answer, which is it's something we're working on. The only challenge we have, there are a couple. One is the technical thing, making something that's not just, toe protection, but all the other things that you need for a good work boot that still lets your foot move as naturally as possible and gives you all the other features you need. There's also the expense of getting it OSHA certified, like a huge expense, even bigger in Europe. And there's another one, which is, the bandwidth that we have in our development team to get that done. It's a tricky project. We've been working on it for a while. So hopefully, Jason, I bought a few 2 weeks ago during the winter sale, bought the HFS 2, a great shoe. Elliot says, again, you should know, besides work boots, I wear all Xero. I have 11 pairs and counting. Happy to hear it. You're not even close to the winter, but that's okay. We have what's referred to as the largest share of closet than any other brand I've ever heard of. Because as many of you experienced, once you experience what natural movement is like, what something lightweight is like, what something that doesn't squeeze your toes is like, it's kind of hard to go back, if not impossible, to go back to anything else. Kevin, no question. Just want to thank you for your shoes. You were part of my process of healing knee pain as an avid hiker. I have 6 pairs of Xero shoes so far, one for every occasion. Oh, Kevin, there's more occasions. Thank you so much. It's really, really kind of you. Thanks for your knowledge as well. Also very kind. Deneen says, good to see you stay warm. For me, it's okay. I got 2 layers of pants, 1 big thick sweatshirt, and a very warm coat, a scarf, and the hood on my coat. It's my dog, who's a short-haired dog, that's the tricky part. So it's him staying warm. That's the fun one. Elliot, I noticed newer models seem to be getting more and more narrow. Nope. That was an obnoxious way of saying it, but completely not true. We are literally using the same the same mold that we make shoes around. They are frankly as wide or wider than we've ever done. Nothing has gotten narrower. So I will say, like, as an example, I heard someone say that about the Speed Force. And in fact, this is a new shoe that I got that I wore at the Consumer Electronics Show 2 weeks ago. The first day I put it on, it felt a little snug, but because of the way the mesh works, by the next day, super, super spacious and totally fine. So some of the shoes, just from the way the materials work, they might feel that way for like a day or just a couple of days, like leather stretches, canvas stretches. Some of those faster or slower than others. But to be clear, we're not making them more narrow. We never have. It's something that people have said online. And, this is where I'm getting upset, because there's nothing I like less than people saying things that aren't true. Completely 100% not true. Undeniable. What I've seen happen, I'm going to rant for a second. Pardon me. I've seen people like have a shoe that they broke in and had been wearing for a year or more, and then got the same one and go, hey, it feels narrower? Because yeah, they broke that one in, but undeniable, guaranteed, it's exactly the same as the one they originally got. So, and it's something we're always attentive to. And we're always happy to hear people when they say, hey, I'd like something a little wider, get us some information. We can take a look and see what's going on. But FYI, do with that what you will. The safety shoes are also something I need as well. This is from Emily. Hope you guys are considering. Again, we're doing more than considering it. We've been working on it for years. It is a very complicated process to make something gives all the benefits of barefoot and all the benefits you need with a work shoe. Any other kit options coming out? Jason asks. You'll be very happy to see what happens when we launch our new stuff for spring of 25 and fall of 25. Any updates on the men's rain boots? Odd Man at the Sea asks. I don't have one in my head. We are adding more waterproof products, but not a rain boot per se that I can remember. Again, xeroshoes.com/feedback. Tell them you want it. I keep telling them. And actually, we have a sample of one that's super, super cool. I keep asking, what's the hang up? Because we got a sample and I don't know the answer to that. Just again, the way things move is by the more people who say, this is what I'm looking for, the more likely our product team gets things done. So go with that. Jason says, opened up his Prio. My someone opened up his Prio model day and went right into the treadmill. Love it. Michael says, does Xero make hiking shoes that keep your feet warm as well as dry? Well, if they're keeping them dry, it's going to keep them warmer because the waterproof layer is going to keep things warmer. And a number of our boots have a heat reflecting insole. So I know the original Denver does. I think well, here, I'll just tell you, the warmest waterproof shoe we make is the Alpine. It's the shoe that I wear with no socks, and I've been wearing it when it's minus, whatever degrees here in Colorado for the last week. I'm out walking the dog for, 2 hours a day in that shoe, not a problem. No socks, totally warm, waterproof as well. But there's also other ones. Again, the waterproof ones will always be warmer because the waterproof lining is a little insulating as well. Elliot, didn't even think about that. Gave up on the Prio Neo too soon then. Yeah, get that back on your foot. Cheryl says, just received my first pair of Xero shoes, the Naboso Trail sandals. Although you wrote it, I think it probably auto-corrected. I'm sure you wrote Naboso and it corrected it to Nabisco Trail sandals, which I think is a great idea, having a trail sandal that has crackers and cookies included. We're going to have to try that one. Can't wait for camping season to try them out for at least warmer weather. It's -2 degrees here. Look, my first 3 or 4 years when we started Xero Shoes, I just wore sandals all winter long too, even when it got freakishly cold. Now, the way I did it, and if you go to xeroshoes.com/cold, you'll see a video about this. I'd go out for a little bit. My toes would get cold. I'd come back in. I'd wait till I warm up. I'd go back for a little bit. I could handle a little bit more. I'd come back. By like the 4th time, I could go out for like 20 or 30 minutes and feel fine. Some people wear socks with sandals, but some people think that that's a cause for getting put in jail. So, but FYI, yeah, I'm not going to tell you to do it. I'm just saying I was curious to see what was possible. And the first winter, I was just kind of curious. And by the time I, knew what was going on, it was March and everything was fine. Let's see what else. Cheryl reply. Yes, Naboso, not Nabisco. Jason says, my son. Yes, I got that. And says again, give me a an okay on that one. Odd man of the sea. Gotten my wife now 2 pairs of Gracies as she loves them. Yeah, I know, I do too. And I think, for some men they can fit in that shoe, but if you need a bigger size, or the men's sizes are typically a little wider than the women's. Again, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback. Let them know, and I'll put in my 2 cents too. Any thoughts on doing something made in the USA? Yes, many thoughts about that. And let me say this. I'll say 2 things. You said, I know I'd pay the premium. You're the exception to the rule. There are a number of companies that have tested this, where they had the regular one and the Made in America one at a couple dollars more, and it didn't sell at all. And so they dropped the price to closer to the regular price, didn't sell more. They dropped it to a penny different, and it didn't sell more. But that's not important. The important thing is this. We would love to manufacture in America. It is at this time, and experts predict this is true for at least the next 10 to 20 years, literally not possible to make shoes like ours in America, in the same way that it's literally not possible to have this conversation on a domestically made device. We are looking at a lot of options for manufacturing. We always are, but it's just not possible. The one company, there's one company, I won't mention them by name so they don't sue the crap out of me, that makes one shoe that's all made in America. They did it so they could sell it to the military, and it costs more to make than what they sell it for. People started confusing things and started thinking, well, maybe all their shoes are made in America, and they're not. So what they have decided to say is that they will call something made in America if it has over 70% domestic value. Now, you may be asking, hey, what's domestic value? And you're maybe waiting for me to tell you. I would love to, but I can't. Not because I don't want to, but because I asked them a dozen times and they never could give me a definition. So for all I know, they're taking what it costs to develop it in America and then applying that cost of, working with their American developers to whatever the other costs are involved, and then, doing the math. I literally have no idea. The problem is, especially for performance shoes, 98% of performance footwear is made overseas, and the equipment isn't here. The people who know how to run the equipment aren't here. The materials aren't here. The supply chain just doesn't exist right now. And some industry experts say that it would cost at least 10 to 20 billion dollars to start changing that. And guess what would happen if there were factories that were brought over, not by specific companies, just factories that any company could use? Yep, you guessed correctly. The big companies would take over, and companies our size we never get access to them. And I know that because that's what happens when we're overseas as well. I mean, we have access to the best factories in the world. But when a big company says, hey, I need more production, we get pushed to the back of the line. Same thing would happen. So anyway, that's my rant on Made in America. Deneen, a different Deneen. I have 16 pairs of Xero shoes, and 2 pairs I bought together are too big since I didn't try them on until after 30 days. Is there any way to exchange them still? Contact our customer happiness team and ask. I mean, that's the simple thing. I don't control that, but if they're in new and unworn condition, they should help you out. I mean, I've heard of this before, so. Deneen, different Deneen, says, love the Alpine. Peter Cunningham, are you coming out with closed-toe sandals in the spring? No. We came up with one and we liked it, but when we had our wear testers check it out, it was like 70% loved it and 30% were having problems, so we had to go back to the drawing board. It's amazing. I designed a slide sandal, one, no hands, just slide in, away you go. Super cool design, beautiful. It fit brilliantly for half the people who wore it, including me, because I made it off of my foot. And but the other half didn't work at all. So it's amazing the things that we discover after we do all the testing we can, and then we give them out to 20 or 30 people and we get more data, and it's like, back to the drawing board. So very high on our list. And we have a couple other sandals that are super cool, but not the closed-toe one yet. Not trying to get too political, but are you worried about the 25% tariffs on stuff being shipped to Canada? Well, tariffs are a weird thing. We don't pay those. The recipient pays those. This tariff thing, I don't want to get too political either, but I just want to, I'll give you this story about tariffs. When in the first Trump administration, when he put tariffs on stuff coming in from China, we had product already on a boat. We had already paid for it. We had already paid to get it shipped. We had paid for everything. And then a new tariff kicked in, and we had to pony up $500,000. This is when $500,000 was a significant amount of what we made in a year. I mean, I'm being glib. I mean, I don't remember what we were doing in 2019. I don't remember. Anyway, we didn't have $500,000 is the bottom line, and we had to pay that to get them to be able to receive them at the port in Los Angeles. So we paid the tariff. It goes into the US Treasury, but it came from our pocket. And what we had to do the next year is we had to raise some prices because of the extra, what it was costing us extra to bring things in. Well, we try to make things really affordable, and we do something that many people in the footwear industry say is stupid, which is that, I mean, I can't get into all the details on the math, but we basically make them as inexpensive as we can based on what it costs for us to make them. And when those tariffs kicked in, it was especially on products that were, here, I'll tell you, the tax was 62%. So we had to pay an extra 62% on top of what it cost to manufacturing the product that we didn't expect to. And that was a problem. So tariffs are paid by customers fundamentally. I mean, or, the companies and the customers. It's a tricky one. Anyway. Odd Man at the Sea. Any secret new designs you can flash on the screen? If I was at the office, I could, but I'm not at the office because I had to leave because the road between my office and here was getting shut down because of the wind. But yeah, there's a bunch of cool things that I'm looking forward to. And now it's getting dark out, and I really should add some light. So now I got this weird lighting thing going on, but we're not going to be here forever. Okay, let's see. Are the Alpines warm? Yes, I talked about this before. Now, let me say this about warmth. It's up to you. So there are things that affect how warm your feet feel. One is the circulation you have. 2 is how cold it actually is. 3 is what the humidity is. And then, of course, the shoe itself. What I can tell you about the Alpine, I mentioned it before, it's been below 0 every morning for the last 4 or 5 mornings, and will be for the next 4 or 5. Yesterday, it only got up to 8 where I was. And I spend about 2 hours a day walking our dog, and I wear the Alpine with no socks the whole time, no problem. Now, you may, if you don't feel they're warm enough, add some thin merino wool socks, and that'll help you out as well. So I can't make a promise about you specifically because I don't know you and your situation, even though you're in Montana, but I can tell you that's the warmest shoe we make. Steve, will you be releasing a grounding shoe? Also would love to see a shoe specifically for tennis. So let me do tennis first. Here's one of the weird problems we have. People wear a lot of our shoes for a lot of different reasons. So we have professional golfers who swear by our shoes. But the 4 golfers that I'm thinking about are talking about 4 different shoes. We have basketball players who are playing with our basketball shoe, but they're also off the court like training and doing warm-ups and shoot-arounds in our other shoes, 5 or 6 different shoes. We have people, trainers at Lifetime Fitness, major fitness people, love our shoes. There are 8 different styles that they are buying the most of. So when it comes to tennis, what I can tell you, the 360 is a great shoe. The Prio is actually a good shoe. The Forza Trainer is a good shoe. And when the basketball shoe comes out, while we're promoting it for basketball, we've already had some tennis players go, great shoe for tennis. That's the word I was looking for. Pickleball too, by the way. Actually, I have a friend who they wear the Speed Force, our closest thing to barefoot shoe when they're playing pickleball. It's a personal preference thing more than here's a shoe for this thing. I mean, when we came out with our first closed-toed shoe, which was October of 2016, it was our Hana, our casual canvas shoe. Like 2 weeks later, there's a guy taking pictures from the top of Kilimanjaro wearing that shoe. It's not a hiking boot. It's not a hiking shoe. It's a casual canvas shoe. But, it worked for him. And so he took it up Kilimanjaro. Can they be too warm? Someone asks. I'm assuming that's a question. I don't know. I mean, I guess if depending on what temperature you're wearing them in and what's going on, if they get kind of warm, loosen the laces. I mean, I haven't had that experience, but I only wear them when it's really cold out. Otherwise, I'm wearing these. Sometimes I wear these with a pair of socks. The only time I wear socks is if it's between about 20 and 30, I'll wear my Speed Force with a very thin sock. If it's anything below 20, I put in the Alpine. Anush, I'd love a non-marking shoe. That's the only non-minimalist shoe I have. And my feet hurt after a few hours of badminton. So a couple things. I haven't heard that our soles are marking, so I'm curious which shoe you're wearing, and this might be something we need to report. And if your feet hurt after a few hours of badminton, it means one of 2 things. A, you just haven't gotten strong enough to handle hours of badminton. B, if it's just like and the sign for that is if your feet hurt like you just did too much at the gym, then that's a strength-related thing. There may be, I don't want to talk about form for badminton, that's a whole other thing, but most likely, if your feet hurt at the end of something, it could be just because you just used your feet like crazy. And I mean, my God, today was leg day for me with my trainer. My legs hurt after leg day and they hurt for like 4 days afterwards too. So, if you just do too much too soon, that can make that happen. So if it feels like just like muscular soreness, my hunch is you're going to get stronger. Or it could be that just at the end of the day, you did a lot and you're going to be sore because you used them a lot, just like leg day. Today, I did a workout that I've done before. I'm wasted. I mean, I'm barely able to make it down the stairs. Up, okay. Down, very difficult. But again, if it's seemingly marking, contact our customer happiness team. I want to hear which shoe it is because, like the 360, for example, has a gum rubber sole that shouldn't be marking. The black ones shouldn't be either, frankly. But I want to hear about it. Forza Trainer is great. This is from Odd Man at Sea. Forza Trainer is great for the gym as the strap allows for a quick on-off, and it's a great secure strap as well. So maybe that. You should come up with a winter boot. This is from Peter Cunningham. You should come out with a winter boot for men so that you don't have to lead some of every time. You don't have to lead some every time you use it. Simply zip. Oh, I'm guessing it lace every time. That's an interesting idea. We've done that for some of the women's shoe. We haven't done it for the men's. Again, submit that at xeroshoes.com/feedback. Lacing up your boots every time can be annoying. I know the feeling. I've been there. I do it every morning. I get it. Submit that at xeroshoes.com/feedback. I think we may be doing that, but again, I can't keep it in my head. We're already working on product for the fall of 26. So not only do we have all this stuff that's hard to keep in my head, I have to keep spring of 25, fall of 25, spring of 26, fall of 26. There's just no room. So there's that. Oh, I meant my feet hurt in narrow shoes. I'm used to a wide toe box now. We'll contact the team. Thanks. Okay, got it. Yeah. Oh, your feet will definitely hurt in narrow shoes. Jesus. Did I miss anything? Just checking really quickly. Elliot says, if anything's worried, Elliot said, I missed that. If anyone's worried about cold feet, check out Wiggy's Lamilite socks. If he didn't, it's Wiggy. I don't know if it's correct. WIGGY_SLAMILITE. Is what Elliot's suggesting. If you can't see that in the comments, any thin merino wool sock is usually really helpful for warmth. Merino wool can get too hot if you're wearing too much of it. Back to grounding. I'll say something about that in a second. First, let me do Todd. Todd, what shoes are being worn for basketball? Well, we have a basketball shoe called the X1 that's coming out in about 2 months, the end of March. Isaiah Stewart, the center for the Detroit Pistons, is wearing that now. Temi Fig-Benley, the center for the Valkyries, is wearing that. Justin Holiday, who was with the Nuggets, I'm not sure where he's going now, was wearing that. But what people are wearing otherwise, the Forza trainer, the 360, some of them, Jimmy Butler from the Heat was wearing the Dylan for walking around casually, for being in the gym, for doing a shoot around and warming up, everything other than playing, because he's sponsored by a big company. So what we say to our basketball players is wear anything off the court to help, get your feet functioning, and use it or lose it, build some strength and agility and balance if you can. And then then transition into the basketball shoe when it's ready. There's a mid top and a low top. And I'm trying to remember what else anyone's wearing for playing. Mostly the 360 and the Forza trainer. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. One other shoe that they're wearing, but I'm blanking on it right now. I think that might be it. And so back to the answer for grounding. So the simple answer, Steve, is we're not going to do it. And I'll tell you why. In order to make something, so let me preface this. I've been teaching physics since I was 14. So what it takes to make something that is electrically grounding compromises the integrity of the shoe. I'm not going to get into whether it's a real thing or not. That's a whole other conversation that's not worth getting into. But I will say that when we've looked into it, and we haven't found any way to do it that actually is valuable, that doesn't turn into a hazard, because it has to be something basically metallic. People sometimes say, oh, leather, but leather is actually not electrically conductive until it gets soaking wet, at which point it becomes something that breaks down really quickly. Leather, people don't remember, because none of us here are old enough, was used in early electronics as an insulator. It is not conductive. And anything conductive is going to be metallic, and metallic things tend to break and compromise safety. So it's just not on our list. Now, if you want to get grounded, it's really easy. Touch any grounded object anywhere. Here, I will say this about grounding for the fun of it. So what some people about grounding will do is they'll use a voltmeter or ohmmeter and show that there's a positive charge on your skin. And they make it sound like that's a bad thing. It's actually what saves your life. So here's what I mean. 99.5% of humans that get struck by lightning survive without a symptom. 100% of trees that get struck by lightning explode and burst into flames, because your skin is designed to be as impervious to electrical charge as it can, so that the charge passes over your body into the ground. Hence, you can walk away unscathed. Trees don't have that, and so the electricity hits them, and the water in the cells superheats, turn into steam, and blow things up and turn into flames. Yeah, burst into flames. That's what I was looking for. There's other things about the whole grounding idea that are worth having a conversation about, arguably. Well, maybe, but here, I'll do this one. One of the things that people say about grounding is it's just really, really good. Well, one thing that people have said is it will keep you from getting cancer, except that animals who are in the water all the time or on the ground all the time still get cancer. So there's just no evidence for some of those things. But more importantly, I don't want to get into that. More importantly, we just haven't found a way to do it that doesn't cause more problems than it might solve. So anyway, do with that what you will. Let's see, odd man of the sea, what's for dinner? It's a really good question. Elena is actually in Portland. She's part of an entrepreneurial program that her college, Reed College, is doing. So it's just me and my dog. And I haven't figured out what I'm going to make just for me tonight. I did have an idea for that. I know what I'm having. I'm having leftovers. The other day, night and a half ago, something like that. I don't know. I made Mexican tater tot casserole. Okay. So I do the vegetarian version, not because I think vegetarian is better or worse, whatever. It's because I have a genetic disorder. So meat tastes like metal to me. So I don't do that. So I use tofu, can of corn. You can do fresh corn if you want. Canned corn's fine. A can of beans, can of enchilada sauce, bunch of peppers, a bunch of onions, got all that mixed up, heated up, and then added a layer of tater tots and some hot sauce as well, and a little bit of cheese. Some of it was real cheese, some of it was fat-free cheese, some of it was fake cheese, just for the fun of seeing how they performed. And the crunchy tater tot part with the wonderful hot gooey everything else part is just magic. So I think I'm finishing those leftovers. All right, let's see. I got a couple other things that came over. Elliot said it's correct. Oh, my spelling, thank you. Did I say the 360s for basketball? Todd asked. I did. What about the grounding shoe? I just answered that. I think I might have seen a zip-up winter boot Seguro. Yeah, possibly. Again, leave it as a suggestion. What makes the basketball shoe a basketball shoe? Oh boy, a bunch of things. Well, the biggest thing, it's it's the same thing as all of our shoes. It's just that it's the first time someone's done that for basketball. I mean, the way I think of it is we just went back in time to the Converse All-Star and just made it better by giving it a wider foot-shaped toe box, by making it lighter weight, by making it thinner, by making it more flexible, by making, like I said, foot-shaped. And then there's a mid top and a low top. So the reality is we just took our DNA and turned it into something basketball friendly. The sole is designed to give you the right amount of traction if you're on a court or even if you're playing outdoors. We did add a tiny bit of a non-Newtonian foam, so it doesn't encourage heel striking, but when you're coming down from a rebound and don't have control over where you're landing, it does give you a little extra something underneath your heel. That's a concession we have to make for basketball. What else is different about it? Materials are just much more rugged and durable to handle just all the things that are going on. We designed it to be really good for lateral stability because obviously there's a lot of that. There's research showing that in that basketball shoe, people were getting to maximum ground reaction time, or whatever. I can't remember what it was, something like that. Anyway, they were getting to their maximum. God, how do I want to say it? The maximum amount of ground reaction force faster, which means there wasn't cushioning getting in the way. Oh, and they're lighter than, of course, regular basketball shoes. So what Temi Figbenley said, and I'm quoting her, not making a claim, just quoting Temi. She said things. One, my feet and ankles have never been this strong in the 17 years I've been playing. And two, I couldn't sprain my ankle in these if you paid me to. And Justin Halliday, he was saying, he feels like he's just cutting better than ever and just feels more explosive. Isaiah Stewart said a bunch of things. I can't remember all of them right now. He just keeps posting about us. It's been really, really fun. So that's what's up about the basketball shoe. Okay, got to keep going. A lot of questions. Holy smokes. Brett Price, 11360 with a Move Game Day insole for basketball. All right. The insole is key, though, for basketball because of the hardwood floor. There you go. So I think what we've done is build in something like that into the new shoe. JP, thank you. Love every model of shoe I've gotten from y'all. My pleasure. Shane, what mattress do you sleep on? Oh, man. This is a fun question. I sleep on a thing that I got 25 years ago called the SAM mattress, SAM, self-adjusting mattress. So I'm going to see if I can describe this. I love when I get a goofy question. Wait, I'm going to turn on a light. Hold on one sec. This is going to look weird for a moment. And there we go. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so those camping pads that have a little valve, you open up and air just goes in and inflates just a little bit, then you close the air. So imagine having one of those inflatable things that's a rectangle about, 6 inches high, 6 inches square and as wide as a twin bed. And then have like 8 of those. So they're in different zones and they're all connected to each other. So you put pressure in one place, the air that was in there can move to one of the other places. You can control how soft or firm you want overall, but then it adjusts to you dynamically based on how you're moving. And so there's one side for me and one side for Lena. Now I'm chuckling because I love that mattress, but the self-adjusting part has been impacted by our 35-pound dog. So when he gets under the covers and comes in right next to you, he's weighing it down a little more and it's changing the geometry of things. So it's pretty entertaining. I'm still playing with the way of doing that, but I like it a lot. I have a fantasy of doing a massive test to see which mattresses feel better. But I do think about it the same way about, I do go for much more firm than, and I do have a very thin memory foam mattress topper. And the mattress itself comes with I don't know if it's a real wool or a synthetic wool upper, which is both warming in the winter and cooling in the summer. So that's the mattress. I don't even know if they still make it anymore. I had to get a new part for it about 2 years ago. So it's out there somewhere. But I like the experimental component, and I just haven't had the bandwidth to take that project on right now. Deneen, I live in the Denver-Fort Worth area. Just look forward to the cold. I look forward to the cold just to wear them. I feel like work for you guys because people always ask me questions about where they can get them. Thank you. Look, thank you to everybody who has dealt with the fact that people will stop you on the street and say, hey, where are those? Where do I get them? Or you bumped into someone else who's worn a pair of Xero shoes and you get into that conversation. I had it happen. One of our new employees is in Chicago, and he said, I was on the street and I saw someone, and he just started working with us, so he hadn't been paying attention. It's like I saw someone in Xero Shoes, and I went, "Oh my God, those are Xero Shoes!" And this woman like jumped out of her skin, terrified her. He said, "Yeah, I got to be a little more subtle next time." We did a survey and asked customers how many, if they've ever been stopped on the street by someone asking either what are those or are those Xero Shoes, and it was like 70% said yes. We asked whether, what's the other one? I can't remember. There was another question in between. Have you seen someone else wearing Xero Shoes and talked to them? That was like 50%. So, we get a lot of brand recognition. It's pretty fun. Denise, do you get snow today? Parts of Texas seem to have gotten some. Oh, and no, just cold, she said. That's fun. Okay, there's a couple more. Any kids winter shoes in the future? Yes, but I don't know when. In fact, oh, wait, when is that happening? Not now, obviously. So I think it's fall of 25. So they'll be coming out in like August, late August. Actually, there's a men's and a women's, or there's an adult and a kids. Super excited about these. Where can I buy Xero branded clothing? Well, we do have t-shirts on our website. And that's the only thing we have at the moment. And if you're having a hard time finding, use the search box to look for it. We're having some issues with the menus and getting everything that we want in the menus. I'm trying to fix that coming up soon. So that's all we have is things like this. And, depending on your size, they can, show off the guns. Okay. Can't believe I just did that. Peter, if you want kids' winter boots right now, I would check out Segura Field Grounds. Here you go. Okay. Hey, I got to the end and it's 5:47 and my dog is looking at me like we have forgotten the thing we're supposed to do around this time of day. So I want to do a going once, going twice and just remind you, if you have a last one, throw it in there while I remind you. If you're in the EU, it's the middle of the night. What are you doing up? Go to xeroshoes.eu. If you're in the UK, it's, an hour or two earlier, depending on where in Europe the EU people are. xeroshoes.co.uk. Everywhere else is xeroshoes.com. If you have any questions about an order or you want some advice, etc., reach out to our customer happiness team. Drop them an email, support@xeroshoes.com, or give them a call. Our phone number is on the website. I think it's at the top, definitely at the bottom. If you have any suggestions or advice or requests, submit those at xeroshoes.com/feedback. That's how we know what to do next. This entire brand has grown because of people like you saying, here's what I would love, or here's what I don't love, or here's what I'm thinking, or whatever. We started out with a do-it-yourself sandal making kit. That's all we had for 2.5 years. And people would say, but I don't want to make my own. And so I spent literally hours almost every day trying to figure out how to take a DIY 10,000-year-old idea and make it more ready to wear and more commercial. And I did that. And then people said, hey, but what about like a trail shoe? So we came up with the Z Trek. They said, what about a trail shoe with a little bit of, protection? So we came up with the Z Trail. What about a shoe that I can wear at work or when it's cold? And that was the Hana. What about a run, like a road running fitness shoe? That was the Prio. I mean, literally it's just gone like that. Now, granted, our product team is smart and they find some holes in the product line and think of things that you hadn't thought of. Like the Dylan was not a request that we got, but it's one of our best sellers. So, that combo of you and us is what makes this work. And Peter says, I'll suggest the zip up shoe in the feedback. Deneen says, much love and gratitude. Thank you. Todd says, thanks for the session. I love the product and I'm a proud affiliate. Man, see podcast. Thank you for reminding me. I forget this every time. I have a joke. Everybody's got a podcast these days. It's just getting ridiculous. And if you want to hear more about that, check out my podcast. And I do have one. It's called The Movement. You can find it wherever you find podcasts, or you can go to jointhemovementmovement.com and you'll find a couple hundred episodes where where I've spoken to some very, very smart people who understand natural movement in various ways, not just about running and walking, but everything you can think of. Slowed down a bit lately just because it's been really, really busy over here, but I got a few people lined up that I'm looking forward to talking, but I think you'll enjoy it. Someone has said that it's the only podcast they don't listen to speeded up because of how fast I talk, and I get it. A Xero hat with a little logo on the front and Xero written on the back strap would be sick. I agree. No, do me a favor. Find a picture of the kind of hat you like, trucker hat, running hat, whatever it is, and send that in because there's a lot of different hats. And we want to kind of, at some point, we're going to do a survey and find out what kind of hat people like the most, because we're not going to get a whole lot of them. We'll figure out, one style and take it from there. Denise says, have a good night. Thank you. I will, as will my dog. As soon as I say the W word, and then he will pop out of his slumber and race to the front door, and we will deal with the fact that it's now, hold on, wait, I'm going to tell you what the temperature is now. It was 40 when we went out for our afternoon WALK, and it is now, hey, it's still pretty warm out. So, I don't have to get too super bundled up. All right. Once again, I just want to thank all of you. You may have noticed I love doing this. It's a pleasure to have these conversations. And just a reminder, when Lena and I started this almost 15 and a half years ago, we never imagined we would have helped over 2 million people discover the fun and comfort and benefits of natural movement, and have built a brand. Now there's, almost 100 of us who are helping make all of this happen in multiple parts of the world. It's just crazy town. And we could not be more grateful for your support and your help, literally from just, talking to strangers, or just giving us the feedback that you need, or everything in between. We have very, very big plans for the future that we're very excited about. You'll see those playing out over the next year for sure. Basketball being a huge one. Obviously, over the moon about that one. But more importantly, obviously we couldn't do it without you. We do this with our company too. We say this within our company. Everybody in the company is important. We do a quarterly profit. Wait, how does it work? Profit sharing inspired bonus plan, where when we have a profitable quarter, that there's a chunk of money that gets divided up evenly among everybody, because we know that the warehouse people, the customer service people, the product people, the accounting people, even me, they make me take the bonus. We know that this is a team effort, and we're just mind-blowingly grateful. If you're ever in or around Denver, come swing by, see our store that's part of our warehouse, and then take a look at the 82,000 square foot warehouse full of shoes. It's just mind-blowing. And from my perspective, we're still a startup. This is just the beginning. There's so much that I know we can do, and so much that we're planning to do. We have some new team members who can make that happen. We're thrilled about. So, just wait. We're thrilled. But until then, most importantly, just do me a favor. Go out, have fun, and live life feet first.